Because didn't I tell y'all that? Didn't I tell y'all there will be an accidental explosion?
Is the reason he's burning because I told you that there would be an unintentional explosion? Unintentional fire, and before you know it, the residences of famous people will be on fire. Everything would be burning. I offer my prayers for those who are in its path as well as for it to reveal what it needs. You wouldn't believe what they discovered in some of the burned out areas from the LA fires. Could this be the reason the FBI and military were sent in to prevent people from going down certain areas? The problem is persuading people to believe things they don't want to believe, and in each of these situations, the money is incapacitated where children are concerned. Wendy Williams has returned and is not at all disabled, as her guardian had said. It turns out that Sabrina made it up to persuade the entire court that Wendy was unwell so she could reportedly keep receiving some of Wendy's money. Wendy also didn't slack and spill on the tea about what she knows about Diddy and girl. She ain't hold back on a thing. Not only did she confirm the rumors about Diddy getting her fired from Hot 97 when she exposed him for being DL, but she also gave us some tea about the things that Diddy has done so that nobody knows about it, and how the recent California wildfires, which conveniently burned down the houses of a lot of celebrities, was tied to it. Look at in situations like this is, I look at the patterns of who got wiped out and how, and one of the first questions, I'll be honest, that I'm going to look at when I look at some of the communities involved is how many of the homeowners were on the P. Diddy list now, just in case you somehow didn't know what Diddy did to Wendy back in the 90s. It all started when Wendy got on the radio to announce that she had been sent some photos of Diddy receiving an oral action from another man while he was vacationing in Cancun. She said she didn't want to give off too much, however, she was going to be getting into it and even leaking the photos on her next segment. Well, before the next segment even rolled around, Diddy called the producers of Hot 97 and ordered them to fire WI. And for some reason, he had enough power to do it at that time, especially in New York, so they fired her just like that, as he has instructed them to do. Oh, but it didn't stop there. He also put out word across all radio stations in New York not to hire her, which eventually led to Wendy having to move from New York because she couldn't find a job and got bills to pay. Wendy also claimed that Diddy had sent the entire girl group that was signed to his label, Bad Boy, to jump her at the radio station because she had a picture of him. If you don't mind, tell me the story from your point of view. We were in Cancun, but for whatever reason, the guy was playing with Puff, so he went behind him, grabbed his trunks, and pulled them down. Some of the girls were taking pictures, so they took the picture and sent it back to Wendy. When the will said that she had him in a compromising position and that he was going to publish it, Wendy had shown the email in which Puff threatened to have Hot 97. If they didn't get rid of her before he returned to New York, he told Hot 97 they wouldn't receive any music from any of his friends, and everyone who was cool with him would boycott their station. Wendy Williams was in the radio station in Philly. He was fired here one day and them. The total were downstairs waiting, and everybody upstairs at the radio station is looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down. I wasn't yet married. My knight in shining armor screeched up in his car just out of nowhere. I didn't even know what was about to happen. I'm standing in the door like, what? And I'm literally about to go through now. I'm not like what, let's fight, cuz I'm not one of those type of broads. And plus, there was 3 of them, the little Chinese man that drove the van. They were coming. There was no security or anything. It was just them 3 fighting broads and me and my coworkers that shot standing upstairs trying to look down to see it all jump off. They all knew when I said good night to everybody. Everybody's pressed up against the window. I didn't even walk or bother asking, what are you all looking? Because when the clock strikes, it's time to go. It is time to go. I didn't get a chance to hit the sidewalk before I knew it out of nowhere, and there's a whole bunch of raw going on outside, and I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And I send Cow and Cell out on the sidewalk, and he comes back in and says that's total outside, and they were about to set it on you now, after all, that Wendy somehow managed to get over the blackmailing from Diddy and finally spoke about it for the first time in 2013. But even then, she held back from saying too much at all because she didn't want him to come for her again. The very homosexual era of hip-hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake from talking about such, and now it's all come full circle. There were many situations, none of which to talk about, but there were many situations back in the day in my career, and it's all coming full circle now. So Wendy was also one of the first People to hint at Diddy being controlling over Cassie right after Cassie filed her infamous lawsuit this video of. Wendy talking about him controlling Cassie went viral. She also very boldly accused Diddy and Jlo of making Shine take that fall for the 1999 nightclub incident, which by the way Shine has made very clear that he was made to take the fall for at just 19 years old as he's in South Africa filming Honey 3, and she allegedly has been avoiding Puffy and you know my thing about when you date a mogul is that it's really difficult to avoid them, because if you use your head, you never know when they're going to pop up on the scene like he's MOG, like he can hire a plane right now. If anyone sees Cassie this weekend, please tell her to listen to Michael Jackson's song Lady in My Life 100 times. Zoom it to South Africa, land on the roof of the hotel where she's staying, pay the front desk staff off, give me the key, and let me up in her room like I'd be. I believe this is a fantastic lure from Puffy, but I advise against reaching out on social media. I don't believe he really wants her back. I believe he probably treated her at some particular point like a possession, like a possession. And if you really care, then you'd reach out privately, not publicly, absolutely set up to be the fall guy. Taking the fall means not snitching, not getting your friends in trouble. Even today, I wouldn't want to do anything to get anyone in trouble. I do not own a, nor did I possess a that night. The crazy thing about all of this is that when Diddy realized he couldn't shut Wendy up, he went after her son Kevin Jr., and he did it on TV. These rumors started when this really creepy video of Diddy and Wendy, in which Wendy got visibly nervous and even forgot what she was about to say after he told her that he met her son backstage. When he said this, her entire face dropped in fear and she started stuttering. It was almost like he was making her aware in a subtle way that he knew what her son looked like and he wouldn't mind coming after him if she don't stop running her mouth on that show. As the mother of a now 16-year-old M who I met backstage, he's a great young man. Oh, thank you. You represent a lot. Shortly after this, Wendy became ill and her show was canceled. Since then, she has kept quiet about Diddy and even concentrated on getting better. However, last year, when he was finally arrested and sent to jail, Wendy still found time to release a statement celebrating Diddy's arrest. She also posted a video of Diddy touching Cassie that was leaked by CNN and criticized him for doing that to the poor girl. She said, "What's really weird is that I've been told by so many people." Wendy, you called it, including some people from my family who have said the same. To see this video on TV of Cassie getting it was just horrific. But now you have to think how many more times, how many people, how many more women. It's just so horrible. Oh, but Wendy was not done just yet, because she's now getting better, despite some very wild claims that her guardian made not too long ago that Wendy was permanently incapacitated and that she didn't have the ability to handle her own business. Well, Wendy recently did a video with the Breakfast Club over the phone, and she proved to us that she's still the same Wendy we know and love. She slammed her guardian for trying to keep her in this conservatorship and even selling off her hats to some random people without informing her. She also said she's currently being teed in a small room with just one window, and then she couldn't even get access to some of the stuff in her apartment because her guardian took them so she could allegedly sell off the property with my niece. Alex knows a lot too, but I'm not cognitively impaired. So you understand what I mean when I say that I feel like I'm in prison. I'm in New York City, and you know exactly what you're talking about. You flew from Miami to New York and were right here with me. All right, she's in New York, in this place that is basically like what some people refer to as a luxury prison. This is her flats room, but the problem with this apartment is that